Welcome to week 3. This week we're going to look heavily at the nursing shortage, both in your discussion board and in your paper. So let's look at your discussion boards first. First one, what impact has the nursing shortage had on healthcare, and what measures should we incorporate to ensure quality care with a shortage of nursing staff? I can think of lots of examples just from my own work environment in a rural setting. Feel free to really incorporate some of those examples. You may not need to look at healthcare nationwide if you don't want to. If you have specific issues or examples that you can bring into from your work experience, please feel free to do that. Next discussion, how has the nurse practitioner impacted the healthcare market in the past decade? We rely quite heavily on nurse practitioners here in South Dakota just because, let's face it, South Dakota is maybe not where doctors want to set up shop. It's probably not as profitable. It's cold in the winter, there's more appealing places for them to go. So we rely heavily on nurse practitioners and honestly PAs, but your discussion board is focused more on nurse practitioners. However, one thing that we know from our state boards of nursing is the nurse practitioner has a different role in each of those states. And we're really pushing in South Dakota to let them have more freedom in their way of practicing, because they are technically in South Dakota supposed to practice under a physician, which really does kind of hinder and hamper certain places where they're able to go, because the doctor just doesn't want to take on maybe different aspects of the state or different clientele in the state. So take a look at how the nurse practitioners has especially impacted maybe your area. Now on to the assignment. Again, focusing on the nursing shortage, what steps can we take to address the nursing shortage? And I think this is going to be specific to each area and to each maybe facility. I know the rural hospital that I am at also, they're down 5 nurses. That's huge for our area. I mean, nurses are working constantly as far as days in a row, overtime, and I'm sure that's nothing new to some of your huge metro areas that have to do mandatory overtime, but that is pretty foreign to us here. So it's basically burning our nurses out here. Briefly define the series of events that led to the nursing shortage. And again, this is going to be, I think, a little bit different in each area, but if you want to look at it nationwide, we know one is there's just lack of educators. So if any of you are looking at going into education, we absolutely need you. This is one of the reasons that we are starting to see a nursing shortage, but obviously, we're seeing those baby boomers retire too. Reflect on your future role as a nurse or healthcare employee in the midst of a nursing shortage crisis, and how do you see the role of legislature contributing to safe staffing during a shortage? That also is going to be different from state to state, simply because some states adhere to nursing ratios and some don't. So as far as the length of your paper goes, it needs to be a minimum of 1,500 words. Make sure you have a title and a reference page, as always, for APA, and 2 scholarly references. Make sure you're doing citations within the paper. You always want to back everything up. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to me, and I hope you have a good week.